Hello and welcome to my craft room. I'm Leo from inkymemories.co.uk. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in South Wales, and today on this Tip Tuesday video I'm going to be talking to you all about the different adhesives that Stampin' Up have available. All of these adhesives then can be found on page 162 in the annual catalogue, and each one has a slightly different use and ways that they would be used best and things that they would be perfect for. So let's run through those today. So the first things that I have here are the fine tip glue pen and the foam adhesive strips and also the foam adhesive sheets. Now the fine tip glue pen, as you can see and as the name suggests, has a very fine tip on the end, and the lid actually holds a small sort of needle that goes into the tip when you close the glue up, and this helps to keep the tip nice and clear, make sure that it doesn't get all gummed up with glue while you're using it. Now this is perfect for gluing small embellishments to your projects, adding glitter, because it gives such a fine bead of glue. You can put it exactly where you want it and add your embellishment or glitter on top. It's also really great for gluing together very detailed die cuts, where the die cut pieces are quite thin and you need to add just a very small amount of glue. So that's perfect for that. The foam adhesive strips then, and the foam adhesive sheets that would normally be here, but unfortunately I forgot to add them to my latest order. Yes, I do that too, so they will be coming shortly, but I don't have them here. Now these basically, they're two very similar products. The strips, as you can see, are cut into thin strips, and these are a foam product very similar to our Stampin' Dimensionals, and these are used to give height and layering for projects. Now these are perfect if you are building shaker cards, so that's where you die cut out a window, put a piece of clear acetate over the top, fill it with small die cuts or sequins, and then as you shake it, the sequins and everything move around inside. Now these are perfect for that because you can bend them, you can put them into a circle or any shape that you need because they are so thin, and they are glued on both sides. So in the same way as Dimensionals, these have a paper backing over the top that you peel off once they're in place for you. And the foam adhesive sheets are very similar, they are just not cut, so they come as one large piece. You can actually use these with your dies in your die cutting machine. So you stick the cardstock to the first adhesive layer on your foam sheets, run it through your die cutting machine so the die will cut through the cardstock and the foam underneath. And then the foam is then already on the back of your die cut, ready for you to glue to your project to give it that height and 3D sort of layering that you would otherwise do perhaps with Dimensionals, but without having to use individual Dimensionals. Perfect again for sort of more detailed die cuts where you don't want to have to try and piece together Dimensionals behind them. The next adhesives that I have then are Stampin' Seal and Stampin' Seal Plus. Now these are both tape runner adhesives. They have the same body, so you can buy one body and then purchase whichever refill you need to add into them. If you buy say two of the same one by accident, you can just purchase the other refill and swap it over as well. These have been recently redesigned. These are a new product launched with this annual catalogue in June, and these take over from Snail and Fuse, which were the two products that we had previously. Now Stampin' Seal, the paler blue of the packages, this one is perfect for layering cardstock and paper together. It's really good for adding ribbon. If you want to add a piece of ribbon in a long section along your project, you can just run Stampin' Seal across the ribbon and stick the whole thing down. Stampin' Seal Plus is a really strong adhesive, perfect for 3D projects. So if you're putting together boxes or bags, things like that, where you need them to hold not just layers together, but sort of more 3D structures, that is what that's perfect for. And the way that Stampin' Seal Plus has been designed is the adhesive inside is actually perforated into mini sections. So let me just run some on this black cardstock so you can see. So hopefully you can see here, and that piece has just come up so it might be easier to see, but each individual piece along here is actually perforated. So there's no sort of complicated movement that you need to do to break the tape once you've finished running your strip of adhesive. You just lift it up and the perforations break naturally by themselves. Now, as I said, stamping seal is perfect for layering pieces of card and paper together. So I have a card base here and a piece of DSP. I'm going to take my stamping seal. So I'm just going to double check here that the adhesive is right to the end of my roller. Pop it straight down onto my DSP and roll, just like so. And put a piece of this all the way around the edge of my DSP. So you can see the adhesive is on the back of there for us. And I'm making sure that I have this the right way up. I can just line this up with my card base. And once I'm happy with the position, just lay it into place like so. Nice and easy. So on the theme of 3D projects and putting those together, the other adhesive that is really perfect for that is tear and tape. Now this is very similar to the Stampin' Seal Plus except that it comes on a roll like so. As you can see, this is a very well used roll and I have a new one here. The reason that this may be used slightly differently to Stampin' Seal Plus is because it already has a backing on one side. So this allows you to put your adhesive in place, and as the name suggests, you literally just tear it where you want to, but you can then manipulate your project and remove the backing paper when you're ready to do so. So it means that you don't have adhesive sort of in the middle of your project until you are ready for it to be removed. In order to get the backing paper off, I use the take your pick tool with the poking end. Just pop it under the edge of the backing paper, and it just peels off like so once you're ready to stick your pieces together. Now the glue that I probably use more than any other in my craft room is this, the Tombow liquid glue, and this is actually a multi-purpose glue. It can be used in two different ways. Now the unit itself has two separate tips on it, so you have a fine tip on this end, and then this end has a wedge tip, so it has a small hole in the centre for the glue to come out, and then this larger wedge tip, which is great for spreading glue over a larger surface. Now the multi-purpose element of this comes in the way that you use it. So this is a wet glue, a liquid glue, and it is great for sticking together card and paper, gluing small embellishments or large embellishments to projects. It's perfect for adding bits of glitter, and you can also use it for building 3D objects. So if you are making, say, a box or a bag, you can use the wet liquid glue, and because it is wet, it has that sort of wiggle room for you. So for example, if you need to line up two sides of a box, you have a few moments before the glue actually bonds to make sure that it is fully lined up as you need it to be. That wiggle room is also really helpful for gluing objects onto projects. So for example, I have here this piece with some letters, and there's a couple of letters that I still need to glue on. So taking the liquid glue, all I need to do is just add a very small amount on the back of the cardstock here. You don't want to add too much of this, you don't want it to squeeze out around the edge of your project after you've glued things down. And like I said, it's not an instant bond, so you can move the letters slightly if they're not quite in the right place the first time that you pop them down. So I'm just going to repeat this with the other two letters that I need to finish off on here. And then the E. So this is how you use it as a liquid glue. So just small amounts on the back of your project. If you need to move the piece once you've put it into place, you have a few seconds to do so before the glue bonds, and then you have all of your pieces glued together. But like I said, this is a multi-purpose glue. It does have another use. So the other way that you can use this is to make a repositionable glue. So you would put your glue on the back of the piece that you want to make repositionable, whether that be cardstock, designer series paper, something that you've die cut, and you leave the glue to dry, and it then gives you a tacky surface, very similar to the kind of glue that you get on a post-it note, for example, and you can then use it and reposition the piece as and when you need to. The next adhesive that I have here then is the Multipurpose adhesive sheets. Now I recently used these a lot in a video and a workshop Wednesday project, so I'm going to link that for you below so you can see exactly how they are used. But basically they are a piece of adhesive sandwiched between two backing sheets. All you do is you take your cardstock or your designer series paper, peel off the first layer and stick your cardstock to it, and then you actually run it through your die cutting machine with your die, and then as you take it out, the die cut that you've just created already has adhesive all over the back, so you don't need to worry about using a wet glue and adding individual dots all the way around the edge of a piece. You literally just peel off the backing paper and stick it down. This is fantastic for very detailed die cuts. And I've got an example of that just here for you. So I've cut here one of the poppies from the Poppy Moments dies. And on this finer detailed piece, you can see the backing paper on here for the adhesive from where I ran it through the big shot. So all I need to do now is just peel off this backing paper that's on the adhesive here. And then this is covered in that very fine adhesive. I just line this up then with the background piece that I've also cut and glue them together, just like so. The next adhesive that I have then are Stampin' Dimensionals, and these come in 3 different versions. The original Stampin' Dimensionals are like this. They are a large cut piece of foam that have a backing paper on both sides. So all you do is you peel off one of the dimensionals, pop it onto your project and then peel off the backing paper. There's also a mini version like so, and as you can see these are much smaller. They work in exactly the same way, just a smaller size. And then more recently we've also added black dimensionals. Now these are great if you are gluing darker projects together, because they are black. They don't sort of ruin the look of your project if they can be seen from the side, for example. So they're exactly the same. In a pack you get 2 sheets of the larger size and 2 sheets of the mini size. But as you can see, once you peel off the backing paper, the actual dimensional itself is black, so it's less visible and less obvious, especially on darker cardstock. I don't know if you can see down the side of here. So if I had stuck something onto here using the black dimensional, it would be hidden within the cardstock. Now these are great for adding height and dimension to a project. So if you are layering pieces together, you can put dimensionals on the back just to lift them up off the surface of your project. And I've got an example to show you of this. So if I bring in the pieces that we've already glued together over here, first I'm going to take this larger sentiment piece and I'm going to use some of the black dimensionals on here because I am sticking black cardstock together. Now again, with dimensionals, the same with the liquid glue, less is definitely more. You don't need a lot to anchor your project, just enough to firmly support it from behind is all you need. So all I've done is just pop the dimensionals on the back, and then I shall peel off the backing paper. And then all you do is you just pop this down onto your project where you want it to go. And then you can see that we have a gap between the back and the sentiment piece. But because I've used the black dimensionals, it doesn't stick out quite so much. You can't see that sort of white adhesive down the side. I'm also going to add on this poppy piece, and for this I'm just going to use the standard white dimensionals. And I'm just going to add a couple on one edge over here. Exactly the same as with the black ones, you just peel the backing paper off. I'm going to add this poppy just under the edge of this piece here, like so. The last adhesive that I'm going to go through with you today are mini glue dots. Now these again are perfect for adding embellishments to your projects, whether those are large or small embellishments. They can be great for adding ribbon to projects as well. And I've got a couple of different ways that I can show you on how to use this. So again, if I bring my project back in, the glue dots come on a roll, and there is a piece of tape that covers them like so. And you can see they are literally, just as the name suggests, small dots of glue. So for example, with this ribbon bow that I have, if I take the back of the bow and sit it over a glue dot and push it right in, the glue dot then peels up from the backing paper and is on the back of my ribbon. And I can then just add this bow to my project wherever I need it to go, and then that is firmly secured on there. The other thing that glue dots are great for adding, like I said, is embellishments such as sequins. So I have a couple of sequins that I've picked out of a pack here. I'm going to add a couple of these around my project. So the easiest way to do this is take the sequin to the glue dots, like so, and just drop the sequin right onto the center of the dot. I'm just going to go around until I have all 5 of these sequins on a dot. Just like so. And then using my take a pick tool, I'm just going to use the pointer end again to lift the glue dot up off the backing sheet. And then using this, I can then position these where I want them to go on my project. Just like that. And the glue dots have firmly anchored those sequins to the background of our project without us having to use any wet glue or worry about any adhesive coming out of the edges. So I hope you've enjoyed this run through of the various adhesives that Stampin' Up offer and the different ways in which they can be used in your projects. As you can see, I've put together this fairly cute invitation, and this is a great reminder that I am running a Facebook Live on the 31st of August over on my Inky Memories Facebook page. You can find it on there. We're actually going to be putting together a project kit that has launched today, the 11th of August on Stampin' Up, and you can grab this now from my store. I shall link the project kit for you in the description box below. During the Facebook Live, I'm going to be going through the project, how to put all of the cards together. I am absolutely inviting every and anyone who wants to join in to do so. The kit is very beginner friendly, and I'll be going through it step by step with you so you can join in with me. As always, if you have any questions or comments on the adhesives from Stampin' Up, anything I can do to help, pop them below and I'll be happy to answer those for you. If you are based in the UK and you don't currently have a Stampin' Up demonstrator and you'd like a copy of our current catalogues, again there is a link in the description box below directly to the web form on my website where you can complete, and I shall get those catalogues on their way out to you. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this quick video and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.